Good day. In this short session, we are going to talk about the characteristics of academic writing. I'm Dr. Hautemo. So, to begin with, I would like you to answer the question, how do you see that this academic writing when you come across it? How do you see that this is one? So, in most cases, one has to look at the style of writing to recognize the type of writing the piece of paper is. We look at the formality, objectivity, tentativeness or hedging, which in some words are referred to as cautious writing, language, acknowledgement, quality, accuracy, and responsibility that has been taken into account when writing. Let's look at the formality in academic writing. Formality refers to the style of writing, the formal style of writing, and it avoids colloquial words or expressions like sort of, pretty much, and sort. Also the short form and contractions, two words verb, unnecessary numbering and bullet points, idioms, images, lengths, cliches, colloquialism, a light-hearted or conversational tone. And it's also avoid unnecessary rhetoric questions, which leaves the leader with more questions than answers. So more formal and abstract words are often used, or such as contact, discover, investigate. But however, in academic writing, such words can be used merely to impress the reader rather than to express precisely what is meant. Let's look at objectivity in academic writing. Objectivity may refer to a deliberate distance between yourself as a writer and the subject matter of your assignment, what you are writing and to whom you are writing. Personal feelings and emotion are not supposed to be included. And facts and evidence speaks for itself. So the focus is on the text. Issues are presented and evaluated, and the author arrives at an objective position that is informed by research. So you can use impersonal language can be used, and personal pronouns are avoided, like I, my, etc. So personal language such as I think, I feel, it should be avoided. So the main focus should not be on the personal, the use of personal pronouns. So you should avoid the use of the first person, and also at very big extent the second person, using pronouns yo and yo and so on. So for objectivity to be achieved, a more passive form of speech is preferred. For example, sufficient correlation was not found by the researcher. Instead of saying the researcher did not find sufficient correlation. Objectivity in academic writing, when we look at non-academic writing, we look at those people that write from a very personal point of view, and they use personal pronouns, they to express their own opinion, and sometimes they put feelings towards it. So they use colloquial language, and in most cases they use the active form, like we did not find enough correlation between the two, something like that. Tentativeness or hedging in academic writing. The academic writer is cautious about making very definite or categorical statements, arriving at conclusion too hastily. The purpose of academic paper should be to question what is true and why is it true. So tentative language put forth ideas as ideas rather than offering ideas as definite answers, because the truth is complex and new facts are about it are being uncovered every time. So one cannot be absolutely certain about what they will write. Use verbs such as seems to, appears to, likely to, tend to, may or might, could, would, possibly, and so on. And adverbal and adjectival qualifiers such as apparently, seemingly, probably, perhaps can be used sparingly also. Example, a research show that excessive sugar consumption seems to be linked to the onset of type 2 diabetes. The non-academic writer would speak from a very personal point of view in hedging, as if they are very sure of themselves and may make wild generalization and sweeping statement or draw conclusion from insufficient evidence. So there is so much preciseness in whatever they are presenting, although without concrete or research-based evidence. For example, everybody knows that sugar consumption causes diabetes. So the language that is used in tentativeness or in hedging could include the ones in the table on the left. Believe, modal verbs, and so on. You need to study the whole of these examples. So you can also use compare the following sentences to see how hedging has been used. The first, it could be like, it may be said that the commitment to some of the social and economic concept was less stronger than it is now. Rather than saying the commitment to some of the social economic concept was less stronger than it is now. There it's like you are sure. The lives they choose or they chose may seem overly ascetic and self-denying to most women today. The lives they chose seem overly ascetic and self-denying to women today. There are certain cases where this would seem to have been the only possible method of transmission. There are cases where this would have been the possible method of transmission. And the last one is that acknowledgement of or referencing in academic writing. Referencing is very, very important in academic writing, and it should be done in a standard conversion of referencing such as APA, Harvard, MLA, etc. And it should be done inconsistent. You cannot jump from APA to Harvard to MLA in the same academic paper. Referencing also put your work in context, demonstrating the breadth and depth of your research and acknowledge other people's work. Acknowledgement is done in text, like in text citation or on a separate page that ends your essay or the reference list. In non-academic writing, you would see that writers are just not so obliged to include citations or borrowed information. So referencing is very important for many reasons. It allows one to acknowledge the contribution of other authors and researchers in their research. The university assignments draw on ideas, words, research of other writers must contain citations to give credit to the writers from whom words and ideas are borrowed. It also demonstrates that you have done a research, and you have used a broad range of appropriate sources, and you have identified ideas from key writers or theorists. It also assumes that your point of view or argument has been influenced or shaped by credible academic source, and it helps ensure that you are not plagiarizing another writer's work. You are not copying, you are not stealing people's ideas. If all sources of information and materials are appropriately acknowledged. Quality in academic writing implies that the writer has to do their best to ensure that the reader has the best possible chance. Ideas are presented in a precise, concise manner while still engaging the reader. Unambiguous language, words, phrases, sentences that does not confuse readers are used. The style of writing must be clear, straightforward, easily understood. Whereas in non-academic writing, one may resort to more colorful or decorated language using jargons, often a showing of their educated style of writing. Accurance in academic writing may mean the use of vocabulary accurately and not confuse words. One has to choose words and examples, correct words, or break down the task into stages: an idea stage, an accurance stage, whereby you need to rewrite and edit your work very, very well. So you need to compose, and you also need to transcript, whereby composition is deciding what to say or what you want to say, and transcription is what you have to say. You see, so what you have to say first, you have to compose ideas and then concentrate on spelling, handwriting, punctuation, etc. And then after, you have now to develop the transcription skills by developing an argument or on the opinion that you would want to or you would like to raise. Responsibility, organizing responsibility. One has to be responsible to provide evidence and justification for any claim they make. You have to be responsible for demonstrating an understanding of any source of text you would use. This is done through paraphrasing and summarizing what is read and acknowledged from the sources of the information. One has to be well organized. The work should flow coherently and logically from one section to another, and your writing should be well planned, that and it should take place after the research has been conducted and evaluation has been done, and it's done according to the specific purpose and plan. Thank you.